All right, guys, I hope you like that intro. Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you watching. In this video, we're going to go over two things real quick. One, adapting the Field Tuff pine straw rake to the QH05 quick hitch with no welding. And number two, I'm going to show you this RetailREMS skid plate. I'll show you the step two, install, and not the install process. If you want to see the install process, go to Green Mountain DIY, I think is the channel guy. He does a really good video. There's another channel. I'll link both of them in the description. They do a good job. What I'm going to show you is a couple little nuances to that install that I didn't see clearly shown in the other videos that I think you might find helpful. So let's get started. In the previous video, what I did, I went through this Field Tuff pine straw rake. This is a 72-inch version. And one of the downsides of it was that it was not quick hitch compatible. Well, it is now, and let me show you what I did. All I did was bought a longer hitch pin for here, and I really didn't need a longer one for there, but I wanted a second one, so I got it anyway. And then up top here, I just used some washers. These larger ones came with the QH05. The smaller ones I ordered off Amazon for 10 bucks, and used the floating top link to make it fit. And that's all there was to it. Now, if this were a larger implement, something heavier, I don't know that this would be such a good idea, because this is obviously not how this stuff's intended to mount. But with a very light implement, sorry the wind's picking up here, I think it's going to be just fine. Let me start then with what my original plan was. My original plan was have someone take this tab off, cut there, and re-weld it here, do the same thing on the other side. So I would just have an extra large gap, and then I would just hook up normal on the lower link, and the top hook does align. And by the way, the problem is these are in the way, so it's not even like you can hook on the outside of one and the inside of the other. The dimensions are such that that tab is exactly in the way. Not good, but that's the way it's designed. So I just went with this approach. I think this is going to work just fine for a really light implement. Again, I know this is not how the floating top link was designed to work, but that's how it's going to work for me. And then the second positive point to doing this is now I've got a little bit extra weight from the QH05, about not quite 40 pounds, and that's going to help the hydraulic or the lowering to give me enough weight so this thing goes down a little more quickly and easily when I'm out there raking leaves, gathering leaves in the fall. And then my second thing here is the RetailREMS step, which I installed, and skid plate, which I'll show you here in a moment. And I just did their standard install. I mean, it's a step. There's nothing, to it, except I did put a nylon washer in there, figuring it might protect the frame. I'm not really sure, keep it from getting scratched. And then on the back side, might be hard to see, but I bought one more washer and put in there on the back side as well. So that's the only thing I did different. Everything else is just standard on this step, and I'll put links in the description. It's pretty good. If it came out to maybe there, that'd probably be a little bit better, but it's definitely a nice to have. I did not get one for the other side because I don't want more obstructions than I don't want any more obstructions. I just want ease of getting on. So now let me show you the skid plate. Here's the skid plate, and this protects the hydraulic fan. It also protects if that mid-mount shaft pulls off. If you have a mid-mount mower, it protects it from hitting the hydraulic filter, and of course it protects the hydraulic filter just from sticks and debris hitting it and breaking it off. So a couple of tips though, or things I found installing it. The instructions say that they call this an L bracket. You can leave that on. That's the stock 1723 bracket. I think maybe the 1725, or maybe it's just the backhoe version of these GCs has a larger bracket on it stock. So, but the instructions say you can leave that on. I couldn't get it on with that on. I'll show you a picture of how close I got, but it just wouldn't fit. So I just took it off. I don't see any benefit to it. Then working to the inside here, the other thing I don't think the other videos show are these two hoses and how tight it is up against this plate here. Not a huge deal, but I tried to slide it up as close as I could to give these hoses as much room as possible. And these are fuel hoses, best I can tell. One I think is the fuel gauge sensor, and the other one is an actual fuel line. Then the other thing the other videos don't explain is just how difficult this middle piece is to really get oriented in there properly after you've put on this bracket. I mean, difficult maybe isn't the word, but it's a tight fit just to get it oriented. And then here we are on the other side. Here you can see the filter up in there. So the other thing the other videos weren't showing, I don't think, was up in here, the plate and how much clearance it has against those heat fins on the hydrostat. I was afraid that this guard was going to be rubbing up against them in a way such that if the guard took just a single hit, it would bump into the fans and break one off and leave me with a worse situation than if I didn't have the guard in place. So I made sure when I installed it that I had clearance there. I stuck a piece of paper in, and then you can actually get a finger or so in there. But like I said, I also slid it forward. And you can see I'm basically as far forward as I can get. And that was, again, mostly for the fuel line clearance and to clear those fins the best I could. But when you do that, there's the end result. You block that zerk fitting. I'm just going to live with that because I'd rather have that blocked and need to loosen a bolt than have this thing rubbing a little too close up against the hydrostat for my comfort. What I might do too is just shave that corner off. I'll probably email the company first before I do that. Maybe even show them this video and see if they have any suggestions. Oh, and then the last one, let me show you this. This middle bracket's the last little gotcha, or I don't know, little nuance to the install. You can see how the black skid plate is on the outside there, not tucked up in the frame piece. And then the last piece, the other little notch there is behind. I'll put some animation on the screen to sort of show that. So I didn't see that explained in any of the videos. I tried tucking it up in there, and that did not seem to be the right way of going about it. All right, so that's all I'm going to get into today in a video. I've got a couple coming up, though. I'm going to do like a top 10 on the tractor, some things I've been seeing in the forums. There are things I learned as well that I haven't really mentioned in prior videos or haven't emphasized. And then I've got another one coming up where I'm going to put these wheel spacers on. I got these for stability and to give me a little more clearance with the chains. I've got some hills around here, and when I've got a log on the pallet forks, even just a slight incline gets you a little tipsy. So stick around for that. If you like these videos, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be posting a few more here in the coming months. Thanks for watching.